Hi, my name is Chris Munns. I'm the chairperson of the Hampton Democratic Committee. I'm here today with our 5 candidates for New Hampshire State Representative for a discussion about issues that are important to our state and community. 4 of these candidates are running for the 4 seats that represent just Hampton. They are State Representative Renny Cushing, State Representative Mike Edgar, Katherine Harake, and State Representative Loughman. Our 5th candidate is former State Representative Elaine Ahearn, who is once again running to represent Hampton, Hampton Falls, and Seabrook. Katherine, after growing up in Hampton and graduating from Winnacunnet High School, like so many others, you left our town. But then you decided to come back. What is it about Hampton that pulled you back? And what are people that you are talking to telling you about what they want from you as their state representative?
Great question, Chris. Thank you for asking. Well, like many high school graduates, I was really excited to go in the big world. And when I went out in the world, I met my husband, Sarmad. He is not from Hampton. He actually grew up in the Civil War. And when I brought him home to Hampton for the first time, he was so shocked that we didn't have keys to our house, and we left the car keys in the car in the driveway. And then when my dad took him for a ride on 95, he was really surprised when my dad gave the quarter to the toll booth and said, "How are ya?" to the toll booth collector, something you just don't do in other parts of the country or even the world. So I think he opened my eyes to the safety and the kind of mutual respect we show each other here, no matter how much money we have or what our background is, that I just kind of took for granted. And so that's something that made me appreciate Hampton more. And we always came back here. We lived in Istanbul 20 years. We were here every Christmas, every summer. I only ever bought a house in Hampton. Before we had the house, we stayed at my parents' house. So that's what I can say about why I came back here. It's always been my base, and I think I appreciate it more than ever. Also, I lived in other places. I lived in Montreal. I lived in Istanbul. I even lived in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I can tell you that I always was more of an observer there. I wanted to respect the culture and not really a participant. But I feel like in Hampton, I can be myself because I'm a product from here. I think that I can talk to everybody. I mean, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, we kind of all come out of the same mold, or at least we share a lot in common, our love for the area, our love for the seasons, for New England. So I just feel I can be more myself here, and my ideas and how people feel, it's really similar. This election specifically, Chris, I have heard over and over again, people just want to see us treat each other with respect and decency. Everyone is very busy with their lives, and as a result, they really look to us to represent them and to look out for them in Concord. They don't have the time to really get too politically involved. At least they don't when the tension is so high. So I feel like they appreciate hard work here. I think in New Hampshire, or maybe in specific New Hampshire, I think that hard work and intelligence is given more value than pedigree. So if you give a lot of thought to what you do here, it's appreciated more maybe than in other places. Other issues, I think, are the issues we keep talking about, like taxes, climate change, healthcare, women's right to choose, racism, mental health. Of those, I think climate change and mental health came up the most. Climate change is like a given for people who believe in it. It's just everything we talk about is part of the equation. For others, we need a little bit more talking to understand, how it impacts. Mental health is like a symptom of many other issues. A big part of that is financial independence or lack of. That's why a lot of people drink or they have coping mechanisms. There's hereditary issues, there's loneliness, there's health issues. So that's what's coming up when I'm talking to people. It's been a challenge, but I have talked to a lot of people and it's been really rewarding. And I think if you just pretty moderate. I think people here are relatively comfortable compared to other parts of New Hampshire. We have our problems, but we just kind of want people to be nice, to listen to everybody, to not be too extreme, and to use common sense. So that's kind of the feedback I've gotten in Hampton.
What are some of the things that the rest of you are hearing from? Mike, do you want to start?
Well, it seems that I talk to less people now than I used to, for one thing. Not getting out quite the same way. So in a little bit, not necessarily a bubble that way, but so as far as hearing stuff now, people just want the damn election to be over and to get on with our lives. Hampton, you know, it's a great place to be. I've been moving around the country, and then after we had, when we had the 4 kids, I was told we weren't moving. So we stayed, and one of the reasons was because of the schools and the overall atmosphere of the place. You know, it's like, you know, in some ways people say, why would you go on a vacation? You got Hampton Beach here and you got some other things, so why go anywhere? It's just, you know, overall a really nice place to live. Like any other place, you know, you have a few people that you probably wouldn't spend a lot of time with, but overall it's really a nice atmosphere. And I think it was a good decision for me to be told we're not moving. And we've been here, you know, like I said, since '76, and got a feeling we get planted here. So I just think it's a great place to be, and that's why we stayed, and we want to continue to you know, trying to work hard so that it will stay the great place that it is.
Great. Elaine, you live in Hampton Falls now, but you spent some time in Hampton before. What is it about the seacoast that has attracted you, and what are you hearing from people?
I think Mike's absolutely right. Everybody's talking about the fact they can't wait for this election to be over, and that the mean viciousness that's at the top filters down through every layer in every household. And I think we're all so tired of hearing cruel, angry people. David and I moved here 35 years ago. We lived in Place Cove we actually lived in Place Cove for about 4 years, and then on Janice Beach before we bought this house. And I had no intentions of moving west of Route 1, south of Place Cove, or probably out of Rye. And here I am in Hampton Falls. No one would ever, I never looked at a house here. But we love living in southern New Hampshire. It's not only beautiful, but I grew up on the ocean as well in Gloucester, and it's an absolutely fabulous place to live. It's 45 minutes from Boston. We love everything about it. We have so many friends here. There's such an overwhelmingly supportive community. We never felt as though we were foreigners, especially if you move into a community like Place Cove, where you know everybody in your neighborhood by the end of the first day. Here in Hampton Falls, you could live here for 10 years and not know anyone, but that's a whole different thing. But Hampton is a very, very friendly community. And I don't know, at the end of the first year, I think I knew the name of absolutely everyone at Hannaford, everyone that worked at Hannaford. And it's just, and our grandchildren were born here. They want to go they love the school system. Our youngest grandchildren all went through Hampton Falls and then Winnicott and now UNH. And, but as I said, none of them think that they'll be able to live here. They don't think that they'll be able to afford it. They can't see a future for that, which for me is really sad. But it is a wonderful place to live.
Renny,
I used to work at Hannaford in high school.
Oh, you're kidding? Yes. Everybody is so friendly. They really are.
Renny, you're the lifer in the group.
Well, this makes actually 2020 marks 100 years since my grandparents came from Manchester on their honeymoon to Hampton Beach and never left. And I, like other people, I didn't choose to live here, but I did choose to stay here. There are days when I think I know more people in the High Street Cemetery than I do in the rest of the town. But what I appreciate is that it's a dynamic community. And just as there are those who trace their ancestry back to Reverend Stephen Batchelor, there are people who just made that decision to move into the town and have all that enthusiasm. And it's really the mix of those that make the town give it its life. Ultimately, it's the people here. And I like the fact that I can run into people at Hannaford's on a Sunday morning that I went to kindergarten with, or that, walked on the streets, kids I played football with in high school, or see people that I used to coach in T-ball with HYA and people who know it. It's got amazing qualities as a small community, and I want to embrace them. And Katherine, I do realize that oftentimes I have no idea what people's political identity is. When you're just being neighbors and you're talking, and I try to honor that as a legislator, because doesn't matter to me whether you vote for me or not. When I'm in Concord, I'm representing you and I'll do my best.
Tom, your thoughts.
Yeah, my grandfather used to take my father to Hampton Beach all the time, and then he sort of passed that tradition of day tripping and vacationing here for the weekend. He would bring me up, spend time, he'd jump right into the ocean, even if it was 50 degrees. He loved Hampton Beach. I remember it being just electric when I was a kid. It was so exciting, so much going on. Everyone driving up the strip, and all the arcade games. It was just the funnest place on earth. And when my wife was pregnant with our first child, we knew we wanted to live in Hampton. We found a home, renovated it in a hurry, and moved in just in time. Both of my children were born right here in Hampton. And it's just been the best decision we ever made. I love the dynamics of this town. In the summer, it is just has the greatest energy. I feel like I'm on vacation every day living here. And you got Winnipesaukee, just a short 1 hour away, and then ski in the winter. You got the beach, the ocean. It's just nothing better than living in southern New Hampshire, particularly on the seacoast. And Hampton has it figured out in terms of providing the best services, and it's just a great welcoming town. And it's been such an honor having the opportunity to represent them, and I hope to continue.
As a first-time representative, what have been some of the issues that people have talked with you about?
Yeah, well, I've been surprised at how much interest there is. Aside from my duties as a state representative, just how much interest there's been on opportunities to do things with their children, whether it's parks, playgrounds, youth sports, what's going on in our schools. There's just a lot of interest from moms and pops throughout town about what opportunities there are there. And I think when you look at things like school enrollment, it's gone down across the state, but in Hampton, it's sort of picked up. I think this is becoming a place that really is beginning to figure out how to keep and attract families and children. And I think this is just, we got to keep leading the way on that.
Katherine, any final thoughts you want to add?
I think we should be just proactive, not reactive. If we don't deal with, from affordable housing to climate change to the economy to taking care of people who can't take care of themselves, then as we all agree, Hampton's a wonderful place. The Seacoast is a wonderful place. People are going to come in and take our place, and then none of us will have anywhere to go. So we got to take care of it for ourselves so that we can stay here and that everybody can feel they belong.
Okay, well, we'll end it there. Thank you. For more information about these candidates and other candidates running for office this year, you can go to our website, www.hamptonnhdems.org, or visit our Facebook page at Hampton Dems. Stay safe, and please don't forget to vote on or before November 3rd. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody.
You.